New details tonight in the disturbing attack on women's rights in the state of Missouri. Missouri may soon become the first state in the country to provide no legal abortion services since Roe v. Wade guaranteed a woman's right to choose in 1973. Last week, the state's last abortion clinic came under attack after Republican state officials refused to renew the clinic's license, which expired last Friday. Planned Parenthood filed a lawsuit against the state, and we're awaiting the judge's ruling. But now, Republicans in Missouri are adding a new hurdle by forcing women to undergo an intrusive and unnecessary pelvic exam, an internal exam, before getting an abortion. And it's having a traumatic impact on patients and doctors alike. Rachel Maddow was the first to report the shocking news last night in an exclusive special report.
Doctors at this Missouri clinic, they do perform pelvic exams right before they do an abortion, which is standard medical practice, which is fine. But now, as of this week, what the state has started doing, what the state government is now doing, is that they've told the doctors at that one remaining clinic that they must do a second medically unnecessary invasive pelvic exam on every woman before she is allowed to start the punitive 3-day waiting period that is required of all women who need an abortion in Missouri. I mean, at that point, you're literally just going in to sign a consent form and meet with the doctor before they have to send you home to wait for 3 days. Only now, before they let you go from that first appointment, you must, by order of the state, take off your clothes and submit to an intrusive vaginal inspection that you do not need and that your doctor does not want to give you.
We make it very clear that this is not our doing. We do not want to violate your rights. We do not want to make you do an unnecessary invasive procedure that we wouldn't do at this moment. And most women are quite disturbed at that. But they're pretty remarkable because they're actually apologizing to my doctor, saying, I'm sorry you have to do this to me. Wow. And that's shameful.
So maybe the state is hoping that these doctors, faced with this impossible imperative, maybe the state is hoping, the benefit to the state here is that they're hoping that the doctors will give up and stop providing abortions altogether, which of course would leave Missouri with no provider since they're down to that one last clinic.
All right, joining me now, Dr. Colleen McNicholas. She is a board-certified OBGYN at Planned Parenthood in St. Louis, which is the last remaining abortion clinic in the state of Missouri. Dr. McNicholas, thank you for joining me. I'm a numbers guy, so to me, I think about it numerically. There's an absolute relationship between illegal abortions increasing when legal abortions go away. But that question was put to Dr. Randall Williams, the director of health in Missouri, who implemented this new regulation that Rachel Maddow was talking about. And let's hear what he said about it.
While we think access is always important, again, we just can never sacrifice safety for that.
Do you worry that the lack of access will jeopardize women's safety because they'll be forced to seek an illegal abortion because of the danger?
I do not believe that to be true, that you will see an increase in illegal abortions.
Dr. McNicholas, make sense of that for me, that he does not think it will be true that you will see an increase in illegal abortions if the only abortion provider in Missouri goes away.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Allie. I will tell you, I can't even begin to express how disappointing it is that Dr. Williams, who is an OBGYN like myself, has continuously chosen to put politics above what he has learned as a physician and what science and evidence tells us. He continues to use fear-mongering to distort the facts about the safety of abortion, really to politicize the issue, and with no other reason than to shut down the clinic. You're right. It is absolutely true that as access continues to dwindle, more and more people will turn to abortion outside of the legal framework. There is no question about that.
And this really isn't a matter of whether you agree with or believe in a woman's right to an abortion. We're just discussing a medical practice here. We're discussing the fact that an abortion is a safe procedure in America, largely because there is access to it and it is legal. And it is a procedure in which there is a pelvic exam before an abortion is performed. If there's a danger, that will be identified by an OBGYN like you. There is no argument for the second intrusive exam.
You know, pelvic exams are incredibly invasive and really private matters. And the framework that we are always using in determining if somebody needs a pelvic exam is based on the clinical scenario in which they present to us, the medical reason that we might be seeing the patient, and then we always contextualize that in a framework of shared decision making. And you are 100% correct that there is absolutely no reason in any person seeking an abortion that they would need multiple pelvic exams other than to add just another hoop to the many things that they're having to navigate to secure their abortion access.
I want to read you a tweet by a doctor who said, "Today I was forced by the state of Missouri to perform an unnecessary pelvic exam on a patient terminating her pregnancy for a fetal anomaly. She is heartbroken over her situation, and I was forced to do an invasive, uncomfortable exam. It broke me as a physician to do this to her." But that does seem to be the goal, doctor, that you go to try and break doctors or break the women who are going for this exam with as many hurdles as you can put into place.
Well, that certainly seems to be a reasonable conclusion given the tactics that are used by the state. Given that there is no medical evidence, and in fact, multiple organizations, the American College of Obstetrician Gynecologists, the American College of Physicians, organizations like Missouri Foundation for Health, all of these organizations have come out in support of Missourians, in support of eliminating these totally unnecessary and really quite harassing practices that the state is requiring.
One of the other issues that Dr. Randall Williams brought up is he said Missouri has several states around it and people can go elsewhere for abortions. It's not really that clean cut because people live all over the place in Missouri, and if you're in the middle of the state, that's difficult. But we spoke to a worker in Illinois who said they're getting phone calls. They're getting phone calls from women who are worried that they will be committing a crime if they go to Illinois to get an abortion.
Yeah, you know, the first thing I would say is that perspective that women can just go somewhere else for an abortion is the perspective of privilege. There are already Missourians for whom abortion access is essentially been eliminated because of the multiple levels of regulation and restriction, women driving multiple hours, multiple times, you know, navigating time off of work and negotiating childcare. It's really quite astonishing how unrealistic and how unfamiliar Dr. Randall Williams is with the current situation.
Doctor, I appreciate the time that you've taken to join us tonight. Dr. Colleen McNicholas of the Planned Parenthood Clinic in St. Louis. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.